Ba ba ba. Ma ma ma. Ka ka ka. The remainder of the night passed by, surprisingly uneventful. The boys continued to train with each other, but were kind enough to stop and make me dinner. I was glad for that. Bleh. Unsurprisingly, the food was perfect, but it felt a little empty without the boys to eat with me. They most likely had already eaten, but still, I felt lonely. I couldn't let it bother me. I ate and went back to my room to study and sleep. Surprisingly, I felt good going to bed that night. I felt like I could have a peaceful sleep after the previous rough nights I had. I felt good. I drifted to sleep and woke up almost flawlessly the next morning. No grogginess, no aches, perfectly energized and bright-eyed. Man, how long has it been since I got this much good sleep? Yeah, I'm sleeping good. I looked to my alarm clock, and it was 10 minutes before. I'm sleeping good. I'm lucky today. Karma owed me some luck. After all I have gone through in merely a handful of days, I deserve to get some good luck. Ecstatic for the day ahead, I turned off my alarms before they could ring and got dressed. However, my phone started to quickly buzz from an incoming text. Huh? Who's texting me this early? Yo, Anderson, you're carpooling with us this morning. You're carpooling with us for now. We're not letting you waste your money on a bus. Get ready and get your ass at the gate at 7 stat. Motherfucker. I smiled. My friends were the best. They couldn't drive me. I couldn't drive yet, and I didn't have a car. So it was awesome that my friends would let me carpool. I checked the time. 6:30, motherfucker. Anyone can get a spot, but the hard part is keeping it. Perfect. I can get some breakfast before they come. I packed my bag and carried it downstairs to the kitchen. I quickly made myself coffee and toast, not having time for anything big. I let out a soft sigh in happiness as I sipped my coffee. I felt great, and I felt like nothing could stop me today. That's foreshadowing. Audience at home, that's foreshadowing. Something bad's gonna happen. Come at me, Day. I'm ready for you. Uh-oh. I looked at the time again. Time to go. I quickly rushed to the doors, checking myself in the passing mirror. I wasn't wanting to impress anyone, but I still needed to look decent. And right on cue, Naomi drove up to the gates with Suzu waving me down. I rushed out the door and headed to school, talking about homework in the coming day. It's Suzu! That's his name, right? Suzu. Cool. We made it into the school without a hitch. Our lockers were in the same part of the hall, so we quickly unloaded what we needed to go to and got to our important books and necessities. First incident of the day. Oh, this is told in past. This is told in the future. As I walked towards Suju and Naomi, who were both waiting for me on the opposite side of the hall, something hooked my ankle and made me fall forward. It's that cow. Are you okay? Who did that? It's, Oh, it says Lizette. The three of us look back to see Lizette? I'm so bad with names. And her gaggle of friends, of girls. Lizette had a look of complete innocence while the girls around her giggled like no tomorrow. Why, you little... Suzu, don't. I felt a huge fire of anger burn in my stomach as I stared at Lizette. Today was not the only time this has happened to me. However, it was now clear who was behind these incidents. Even if she was innocent and one of her goons did it, it was now obvious that Lizette was the mastermind just from the look on her face. She has no friend, nor will she ever be. She was no friend, nor will she ever be. I had to do something. Glare into her soul. Get her... fighter. You're a fighter. What would glare to her soul? That's like the creepiest thing ever. I want to fight her. I want to kick her ass. I fucking had it. Yeah! I felt adrenaline rush through my body as I pounced off of the ground and rushed at Lizette. ECW, I was not going to be the only one with scraps this time. I tackled Lizette to the ground, swiping and slapping her innocent face. She screamed in fright before trying to push me off and block my attacks. Holy shit, Anderson! Stop it! I wasn't listening anymore. I let my cardinal need to get revenge take over as I began to pull at Lizette's hair to get better aim at her face with my free hand. I had enough of the bullying, the wounds, the insults, all of that was gonna burn in the past as I scraped my nails and hands across Lizette's face over and over again. Damn! That bitch is getting stuck! Or whatever. My rebellion would be marked on her pretty face for all to see. Be scrapping, yo. Lizette pushed me off and scrambled to her feet, both panicked and angry at the same time. Her emotion was nowhere close to the anger I was feeling. Are you crazy? What the hell? I stood up very slowly, glaring daggers into Lizette's soul through her eyes. I must have some sort of monster behind me, or maybe I looked like the monster myself, but the gaggle of girls, Lizette, and even my friends had a look of pure terror on their face. Oh my God, I had had enough to you, Lizette. I'm up to here. You obviously won't stop unless I fight back, so guess what? You're gonna get it, guy. I charged at Lizette the second time, shoving her hard against the lockers. She let out a yelp of pain as she smacked the back of her head against the metal behind her, before glaring and shoving me back. As I stumbled back, Lizette raised her hands, ready to fight for the night. Then come on, bitch, show me what you got. I bet you got nothing much, dog. I felt myself snarl in anger before raising my own fist, remembering my taekwondo. Totally forgot. Wait, what the hell? Well, you're gonna kick her ass. I quickly snapped onto one leg and raised the other leg to get a swift kick at her head, but she blocked with her arm and stepped towards me to jab at me. Hiya. She had training, no surprise. I didn't care at that moment. I bent back from the incoming jab, reestablishing my balance as I placed both feet on the floor. Lizette threw jab upon jab at me, forcing me to place my torso and face with my arms and hands. Hit for hit, Lizette and I exchanged defended blows from each other. It was indeed more than just a catfight. It was a vengeful duel to the death, dog. In my mind, all I saw was Lizette. All I wanted was to make her stop, and if that meant beating her down, then it had to be done. We eventually gained a small crowd of people, all silent but observing the fight. My anger intensified and my hits became harder with each second that passed between us. I couldn't let her win. I wouldn't let her win. None of Lizette's girls dared to step in, apparently afraid after seeing our skills in our individual fighting styles. Suzu was held back by Naomi's arms, despite both of them wanting to help me. I did taekwondo, she knew Quinchin. Dude. Yeah, we didn't wait long for the end though. Fucking teacher. Suddenly, Lizette was pulled away from me and I was pushed against the lockers by a strong force. Lizette hit the lockers as well in the opposite end of the hallway, letting out a girly grunt of pain. Who's that? Who's this? Oh, I looked up to see my art teacher, Miss Gordon, holding me against the lockers with a look of surprise and serious concern on her face. Anderson, what are you doing? I looked to see Lizette being held back by Miss Phillips, starting to cry innocently. I knew what was going to come out of her mouth, so I tried to push Miss Gordon off to confront her. Miss Gordon, however, kept an arm wrapped around me, keeping me back. No, don't, wait, who's that? No, don't you dare start crying, Lizette. You started this. Miss Anderson, get a hold of yourself. What is wrong with you? What did I ever do to you? You? Lizette? I'm mad at you. I couldn't stop the angry tears running down my face as I shouted across the hallway. Lizette and Miss Phillips stared in shock at my screams as Miss Gordon tightened her hold on me. I'm so sick of it. Leave me alone. Eventually, I lost my energy and began to weigh down on Miss Gordon's arms, letting my sadness take over and quench my anger with tears and swelling pain. I could feel Miss Gordon hug me to her to keep her upright as Lizette sniffled and confided in Miss Phillips. Wow. It's so intense. It's so intense. I didn't do anything to her. Oh wait, I didn't do anything to her. She just attacked me all of a sudden. Didn't she pull my leg or something? I totally forgot. I was just so wrapped up in the action and drama. That's a lie, Lizette. You tripped her on purpose. You always been a snobby prick to us. Never. I gave my condolences about her grandfather's death. I tried to keep everyone calm. What's so wrong? What's so wrong? You didn't even sound sincere. We know you were only pretending to be nice to spite us. Enough. Miss White followed me to Dean's office. To the Dean's office? Lizette followed, wiping her tears in a feigned innocence she knew how to play up. I remained still in Miss Gordon's arms, unable to bring myself to fight. To get at Lizette again. I had done my damage. The gaggle. What the fuck is a gaggle? Oh, I'm looking. Oh, I should have my phone with me. What the hell is a gaggle? What a stupid word. I looked up what a gaggle means. Google says a gaggle is a flock of geese. Okay. The gaggle of Lizette's wannabes would make sure I'd become infamous around the school. The geese. I didn't care. I made my statement on Lizette's face and body, and I wasn't afraid to do it again. Damn, son, that's hardcore. Miss Gordon, however, wasn't done with me. Damn it. Gordon Freeman. I nodded and followed. My friends frowned as they watched me leave, but they headed to the classroom without me. Miss Gordon Freeman led me to the empty classroom, which she had claimed as hers. It looked like all the other classrooms, but art posters lined the wall. My students loved that room, but hated one thing: the mirror in the very back of the room. It was the one thing Miss Gordon loved to use against her students. With it, she was able to see who was using their phones and who was actually studying. Miss Gordon led me to the back of the room and sat me down in front of it. What do you see? What do you see in the mirror of Was that mirror from Harry Potter? What do you see, Mr. Potter? Tell me what you see. I looked in the mirror and saw myself. My clothes were a little ruffled from the fight, but beyond that, I just saw me. Nothing about me seemed different than normal. I see me. Alright, what else? What else? I don't understand. What do you want to see? I see a brilliant woman who has been working her butt off to try and find herself. She just has a little bit of adversity in her way. What does this have to do with what happened to Lizette? Listen, don't think about Lizette right now. She's just another student who doesn't know what you're going through. I stared at myself in the mirror, unable to tear my eyes away. She was right, but I was still lingering on what happened with Lizette. I know Miss Gordon was only trying to help, but I couldn't fight the thoughts in my head. Miss Gordon gently rubbed my shoulders, snapping me from my thoughts. I looked up to see her smile down at me from the mirror. You know, those were some pretty interesting moves, Taekwondo. How the hell do you know that? Yeah. Are you a karate master? You'll have to show me one day. I smiled as she hugged me gently. Look, don't let Lizette get to you, okay? You have your own battles to face, and you can face them just fine. Instead of fighting Lizette, focus on your goals. I look up at her and nod slightly. It was cliche to hear, but she was telling the truth. I need to focus on myself first. She gave me a small packet of tissues and told me that she would handle Lizette. The fear about my family learning of this that had quickly appeared had vanished when she promised to keep me out of it as much as possible. Yeah. Everything will be fine now. You're a good student, so I'll let you off with a severe warning. Just don't get in any more fight. That's not your call. You can't. You're just a teacher. Now, head to class. I nodded before heading to class. Go to class. Well, I went to class. What the fuck? What the hell? That's not allowed. That's not allowed. What the hell? That's not allowed. What the hell? Surprisingly, the rest of the school day went off without another incident. I went to my classes, had lunch, and was anxious about getting home. As the bell rang for school to end, I felt my phone vibrate in my pocket. Huh? A text from Daddy. I'll be picking you up to school today. Make sure you're ready to go when I get there. Uh-oh. Oh, the dean probably called Dad. That's kind of a surprise. I quickly headed back to my locker and got my things before waiting for Naomi and Suzu. Suzu! God damn it! Hey, are you ready to go? Actually, my dad's picking me up. I'm sorry, I'm mixing their voices up. Really? Okay, I guess that kind of makes sense. We'll drive home together next time. Tell your dad that we've got you covered from now on. From now on. Thanks. Even while I laughed, something didn't seem right. My dad texted me to say this. Why was he going to pick me up? Had I done something wrong? Well, I mean, you just kicked somebody's ass, so yeah. Daddy, I'm sorry. I waved goodbye to Naomi and Suzu before heading off to the usual spot where my dad picks me up. I took the time to listen to my music while I waited. I need to go to another Rise of the Phoenix concert. Rise of the Phoenix. Eventually, I had played the entire album with no one showing up. What the hey? Dad's never late, especially not this late. I quickly dialed my dad's number again, but as soon as I pressed call, it disconnected and read a signal disconnection error message. What the? No signal error. How do I not have signal in this place? I double-checked my phone and saw all 5 bars for signal. He must be in a dead zone. Before I could finish, a group of hands grabbed my hands, feet, and covered my mouth. I screamed into the hand over my mouth, struggling to pull away from the hands grabbing at my limbs. Hands, hands, hands. I felt disgusting. It felt disgusting and scary. Feeling their hands on me, I needed it to stop. Who's the... Oh, hello. Hey, don't dirty up Malix's prey. You have a weird-ass nose. The voice, which sent a fearful shiver down my spine, whispered into my ear. You're coming with me, Miss Anderson, whoever I am. I couldn't fathom what was happening, but before I knew it, I was blindfolded and my limbs were quickly tied up. I felt myself being carried somewhere and was shoved into something that echoed the interior of a bus or a van. The doors closed and off I was taken, unsure of where I was going or why. All I knew was that I was in trouble. All I saw was darkness. I felt numb as I was taken to a place I didn't know of. I couldn't even move my lips or scream. Sound zipped past my ears. First the interior of the car, then the outside, then the echoey space with whispers and cackles of people vibrating through it. However, the wrap around my eyes was eventually removed from my face and my bonds were cut. It took a while for my eyes to adjust, but I found myself in a warehouse surrounded by devils, including Malix, who was smirking at me. Uh-oh. Nicely done, hahaha. I'm sure those little shits will come running to find you when they realize you didn't return to your precious little mansion. They'll search wherever for you. I'm so evil. Malix walked over and set a barrel of his gun again. Why you're a demon? Why do you need a gun? Can't you do like your demon powers or something? Why do you need a weapon? And set a barrel of his gun against the skin between my eyes. It'd be so funny when they find your dead body instead. Dude, you're a weak-ass demon. Demons that do stuff. What the Alright. I mean, I can't fight. What if I'm just gonna struggle. What if I just play the waiting game? I could see Malix pull the trigger before bracing myself. Oh, what the fuck? He said that, not me. Okay, you too. Okay. I opened my eyes again to see Malix jamming his finger against the trigger, trying to shoot me to no avail. What are you trying to do? Trying to kill me? Well, she either has the barrier spell on her, Or you're losing your power. Shut up, I'm not losing shit. This little brat must have the spell on her. I felt a wave of relief run through my body. The other devils laughed at Malix, which made him angrier. I said shut up! Malix suddenly moved his gun towards the nearby devil and pulled the trigger. I stared eye-wide at the bullet from Malix's gun I stared eye-wide as the bullet from Malix's gun rammed itself into the neck of a demon boy. The wound sprouted fire and blood, causing the demon to scream and flail in extreme pain before falling limp to the ground. Okay? I'm choking my own shit. As the body hit the floor, it began to almost deform and melt. Blood and black ash poured out of the wound in every opening that body had, causing the smell of death to quickly fill the room. I felt like gagging as the body eventually stopped moving. The body became like a deflated balloon, showing me the true nature of Malix's gun. It was now just a pile of blood and skin. The bullet had burnt up the muscle, bones, and any structure the body had to give it its form. That could have been me. That could have been me! Anyone else want to laugh at me? Huh? The devils around him shut their mouths, obeying the warning of the obvious master of the space. Malix growled before glaring at me. Dude. Cowabunga! That's not funny. As I was saying, it must be some holy magic or some shit like that. Eris. The girl who kidnapped me stepped up beside Malix, looking at me. Malix wrapped a strong arm around his waist and pulling her tight against his side before burying his face against her neck. Eris didn't react, but continued to stare at me as Malix ravaged her shoulder and neck in violent kisses. Who's your girlfriend? Eventually, Malix pulled away, licking his lips before looking to Eris's face. Be a dear and get rid of her. Oh, I'm gonna say that in a mean voice. Be a dear and get rid of her barrier now. Yeah. Without another word, Eris walked around me in a line of sight. As I turned my head to try and follow her, Malix raised his gun to my face. Yes, once again, forcing me to stop moving. I may not be able to shoot you yet, brat, but there's other ways that can beat the living shit out of you. I'll fight you. No way this was happening. No way was I going to let myself be a victim of this. I gotta remember. What was in that book? What are you whimpering? Are you praying that the boys will come and save you? Ha 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 ha. Ah ha ha ha. I kept grumbling, trying to remember and shut my eyes. Studying for a brief second wasn't enough to keep a spell in my mind, but I had to try something. Anything. All of a sudden, the air grew still and silent. I opened my eyes and looked around and gasped at the sight. Everything was frozen in time, as if the clocks had stopped and everything had followed suit. What the? At first, I instantly wanted to move, but my feet were glued to the ground. I guess I couldn't change time and escape from where I was, but I was still lost. What was I supposed to do? There was an orb. A small wisp of wind made me turn to a floating light purple orb. It stared at me glowing, giving me a warm feeling. For some reason, this thing made me feel happy and content, despite the situation I was in. My heart felt like crying, yet I didn't know why. It couldn't have been. Grandfather? That doesn't look like Grandpa at all. Looks like a ball. Looks like a ball. He looks like what was his name? What's the Colonel? The Kentucky Fried Chicken guy. What's his name? What's his name? Damn it! Wait, I want to pause. His name is Colonel Sanders. Damn it! As I muttered, the orb slowly grew and faded into a spirit of my grandfather, Colonel Sanders, from where I last saw him. Bye, Grandpappy, who makes fried chicken. I stared up at him, completely shocked that I was correct. That my grandpa looks old and is dead, and that his form was standing right in front of me. I guess it was a good idea to bring the incubator. That's not his. I guess it was a good idea to bring the incubator there after all. That's finger looking good. What? Is that really you? What do you mean? My grandfather smiled before patting my head gently. I couldn't feel it, but I knew he tried, so I closed my eyes in acknowledgement before looking at him again. Sweetie, don't worry I'm sorry for not telling you, but I didn't know that you were ready to know. That you handle demon magic? Yep. Why? What is there to gain from learning and using demon magic? It wasn't a matter of gaining anything except knowledge. Through magic, I was able to learn more about the demon world and its wonders. I even met your incubi friends. You met the boys? Yes, it was I who helped them come here, but it seems it was at the cost of my life. Wait, what? Why? Why sacrifice yourself like that? None of this made sense. He died to bring the incubi into the human world? Why? Why? My mind was practically screaming in anger. I needed answers. With time being frozen, we all had all the time in the world. Why would you die for something like that? Why leave us alone? Why leave me alone? I wasn't intending to, my dear. But now that I'm gone, you have a chance to find yourself without anything hindering you. What? Your father had always been so hard on you. I am to blame for that. He learned of my studies before he married your mother and pushed me away, promising to never follow in my footsteps. Ooh. Okay. As he was my son and still loved and cared for me. Wait, what? And I still loved and cared for him. I did, sorry. I helped him in little ways, from paying bills to making sure he had food to come home with by adding money to his accounts. You don't know how hard your father worked to get to where he is now. I stared trying to take it all in. It was true that my dad worked really hard, but I didn't realize how rough he had it. What? When you were born, I couldn't have been any happier. I tried to give you as many toys as I could, but many of them were tossed away by your father to protect you from me. I thought I would never be able to see you. But when I found you on that street, I was blessed enough to have been given a chance. After I brought you back to your parents, I asked your mother to convince your father to let you visit me often, and he finally agreed. Why did my dad hate you so much? Why put that on me? Your father saw me as a monster. He was afraid I would hurt you. He wanted to protect you from me at all cost, even if that meant becoming a monster to you himself. You did not know my father. Oh, wait. Oh, what? Oh, that's Daddy! That's Daddy! You did not know my father. You did not know what he was capable of. Oh, but what? What's going on? He truly does love and care for you. But he doesn't want you to be as curious as I was. Curious? I chose to learn about magic. I grew curious about it. He thought that it was wrong, so when I didn't give it up, he shut me out of his life. What a stubborn old man. He was not young. I'm so tired, sorry I get winded. So, I did the only thing I could do. I gave everything I owed to you, including my hidden books your father never knew of. My head began to spin. There was so much information, none of it coming through because I kept stuttering like an asshole. It was all going so fast, despite time not moving a single inch. I'm just so happy that my curiosity stayed with you. So my grandfather met the incubi. That seemed so surreal. I could hardly believe it, yet there was the spirit of my grandfather telling me. It was almost like a dream. So you introduced them to the human world? That's right. This is a really long conversation. It's like the Matrix, I can stop time. I told them about the wonders of our world, and they all wanted to come to experience it. So I helped them come over, and gave them everything they needed. They traveled everywhere, and I helped them as they learned more about humans. Then I suddenly stopped breathing. I don't know why, but I believe it was because my time was up. After I died, those boys tried to come back, However, Malix attacked them instantly when they crossed his path. I used the last bit of my strength to guide them to the estate, so they had a place to stay to heal. So that's why they were there at the house. They were in the house. At the house. They were at the house. But they said they didn't know about the house belonging to anyone. I never told them it belonged to anyone. I merely told them to head to the estate for shelter until they learned to fight on their own. If the estate was meant for them, why give it to me? I never knew your father would move you in so quickly. Even still, I managed to learn of them and learn of the demon world. You even were curious enough to study the magic. Why not teach me when I visited? You were too young to understand. I was hoping that you would make the choice to learn on your own when you were ready to handle it. And you did. I am so proud of you. What are you saying? I've barely begun reading it. I don't remember anything. I will help you remember. Then my grandfather began gently bending down to kiss my forehead. All at once my mind began to fill with spells and history of arcane magic, the demon world, and everything my grandfather had known. Good. Now you remember everything. No, not that. No. Oh God. I looked up at my grandfather again, now being able to bear all the horrible things oh my God. Oh God. What about Grandma? What about, oh no, Grandma, no. Now able to remember everything, and the more he smiled down at me. Remember Grandma. Oh. Never forget, Grandma. Make your own choices and do what you need to do. Don't let someone determine your life for you. Not even me. If you decide to never look at magic again, I understand. But now at least you know it's there. My grandfather then patted my head before turning and walking away. I tried to follow after, still unsure and lost as ever, but my feet remained stuck to the floor. Wait, please! Aren't I tied down? He didn't turn back and he didn't stop walking. Soon he vanished past the wall, leaving me alone once again. I gritted my teeth, trying not to cry. My mind was filled with both the power to defend myself and a large amount of confusion I could never hope to shake off. I could feel the air around me start to move again, so I tightened my hands into fists, trying to push away my concerns. I had to remember, I was Malix's captive. I had to escape. After I escaped, I could figure out my life. Soon the world around me returned to normal, with the Malix mocking me. I closed my eyes and began to mutter a spell from my memory. Spiritus Luminous Abras Michel Tiptoes. What the Latin? What are you doing? I don't know any Harry Potter spells. Whoa! All of a sudden a wave of light burst from my body, washing over the room and pushing the devils away from me to the ground. As the light quickly faded, I shook my head, feeling a small weakness in my legs. Malix quickly hopped up and growled at me, obviously surprised, but irritated beyond belief. Where did you learn that? I'll rip your tongue right out of your mouth! Spiritus Speculum Spehabarhibarahabahurra. Come here! Malix charged at me, dropping the gun. That never hurt me to the ground and reaching for my face. However, I quickly crouched down and covered my head from my arms, while a quick, dark magic circle appeared under my feet. Above me, a dark shield appeared, blocking Malix from touching me. I forgot I turned monitor. Grr! How? You're just a human! A human who knows how to fight back. Chia! Shit's getting serious. Uh-oh. Yeah. I pushed against the shield, forcing Malix back before standing. I wasn't some damsel in distress. I could fight for myself. I shook out the sudden appearance of numbness in my hands as I glared at Malix, challenging him once again to come at me. Malix! No, stay out of it. I'll kill this bitch with my own 2 hands one way or another. As commanded, Eris stood away from us, along with the other devils. The group watching us was lost in intrigue as I stood up against their leader. Oh, you must think you're tough shit since you know some demon magic. Well, guess what, princess? Demon magic consumes energy. I can play this all day, and when you finally lose all your energy, your ass is grass. Who says that? Malix says. I glared, knowing what he said was true. I couldn't hold out forever, but I definitely had the energy to last for a while until someone found me, or until I can overpower Malix somehow. Dude. This is where the Ninja Turtles come in and kick his ass. Malix charged at me once again, causing me to run backwards to keep some sort of distance. I could feel energy wanting to shoot out of my hands, so I pointed my palms at Malix. Light purple spikes suddenly appeared shooting from my hands, forcing Malix to skid back. I had terrible aim, but only able to scratch the edge of his body with 1 or 2 actual stabs into his shoulder and leg. Malix growled, pulling them out and throwing them to the ground. Quit playing around, Malix! I lowered my hands, feeling the numbness run through my veins to consume both of my arms. I began to pant, desperate to for some relief before continuing. Malix smirked at the sight. Oh, for the love of God, please, someone find me, I prayed. I hoped that I wouldn't be able to keep fighting. I was becoming desperate. What made everyone in the warehouse drop our fighting faces was the screeching of police sirens coming closer to our location. Malix smirked even wider. It's time to have some fun, boys. Make sure you kill them all. Damn. The devils all seemed to be excited and started to walk past us to meet with the cops, but a long finger snap stopped them and made them turn around. Malix and I looked to see Eris with her hand in the air, post-snap. Eris, what are you doing? Enough, Malix. We're wasting enough time in this stupid town. I'm getting out of here, and I'm taking the rest with me. I didn't know whether to laugh or not. I bit my tongue as Malix got angry again. Like hell you are! Boys, do as I say or else. None of the boys moved. Eris snapped her fingers again, causing the boys to rush back past her and out another way from the warehouse. Malix, it's over. You can't even beat a human girl. You're losing your powers. Lower devils only follow higher ups that actually have power. Shut your mouth! Malix summoned his gun to his hand and shot multiple times at Eris, who somehow managed to teleport away from the shooting line and reappeared by us. She shook her head, letting out a sigh before grabbing Malix by the neck and pulling him out off me. Malix started to choke as Eris stared coldly at him. All this for a bunch of pretty boys? You must be stupid and desperate. Eris looked at me, making me tense up. Human, I suggest heading home to your pretty boys. You don't want to get involved in supernatural investigation. It's a pain in the ass. She then turned back to Malix, glaring daggers at him as he glared back at her. You really think women are weak? Let me fix that, sweetie. Uh-oh. And with that, Eris vanished into the shadows, taking Malix with her. As I was left alone, the police siren stopped. I looked over the open passage to see the incubi with a large police siren megaphone, staring at me in surprise. That's it. Where is he? I swear I'm gonna. He's gone. Eris took him and left. They won't be coming back. It was so surreal. I was helped by a devil, but I quickly shook off the feeling. I was alive, and that was all that mattered. I fought to stay alive, and there I was. The boys tried to question me, but James cleared his throat, catching the attention of his brothers and me. Let's just get you home, miss. There's nothing more to see here. All together, we began to walk out of the warehouse, back home. There was no way in hell anyone was going to find out about this. It was over. Malix was gone and the boys were finally safe. A wave of relief ran through my body as the thought of never having to deal with the group again. At the same time, a pang of realization hit the back of my mind. The boys were only going to stay only after Malix was defeated. That was our deal. As we approached home, I could feel something heavy weigh down my heart. It was late, but the boys let me inside and turned on the lights in the lobby. Finally, we can relax. Okay. It was good to have some rest without devils breathing down our necks. Ugh, I'm just tired. Can we hit the hay early? Damn it! I keep flipping up. I think some sleep would be good for all of us. Damien, the quiet one. I looked to Damien, knowing he could read my mind, and frowned. I didn't want him to know about my thoughts on the situation. Yeah, bed sounds good. I wanted to just end tonight. Too much had happened, and I felt dizzy just trying to figure it out. However, Damien spoke up, stopping all of us from moving. Should we be gone in the morning? The air became still with tension. The realization of the situation hit the boys like a wave, forcing them to turn to me in curiosity. They had remembered their deal and were not awaiting me to decide. And were now awaiting me to decide their fate. However, I knew my answer. I couldn't keep them here. I knew I couldn't. They were demons, and I was a human. I needed to deal with my own life beyond anything else. If the boys stayed, my life would only become more complicated. I think that would be best. James nodded in agreement, keeping a professional tone in his voice as he replied to me. Then we will be gone before you wake, miss. Thank you for letting us stay here as long as we did. I could feel the upset emotions of the incubi reverberate in the room, but I couldn't change my mind. I had too much going on in my life to let them stay, no matter how much I wanted them to. It was a pleasure to have served you, beautiful lady. It was hard watching each boy turn away from me for the last time. I stood there, waiting for them all to leave the lobby. I guess this is goodbye. Yeah, have a good one. I stuck to my guns. I knew I was making the right choice. Thank you for having us, Miss, maybe we'll see each other again. Maybe not. Goodbye. As Davian left my sight, I finally let in the air that I was denying into my body and sighed. My life would return to normal. Well, as normal as it could be. However, I was smarter and wiser than before. I knew of things beyond humanity now. I had come to learn about the boys and about the existence of the supernatural. I wasn't blind to what was beyond human life. Learning of this made me more open-minded. I nodded to myself before heading to my room, closing the door and mentally allowing the reality of the situation to sink in. Tomorrow, I had school. No devils to kidnap me. No incubi to wake me up. I went to bed that night, accepting and not regretting anything. Or so I had hoped. Who's Diana? Ha ha ha. You are an interesting creature. You are... What the hell? You look like a gladiator. What's up with your neck? You look like a lizard. I opened my eyes to see a woman staring down at me with a very sly smirk and a large ass neck. I opened my mouth to scream in fright, but a hand quickly covered my mouth. Ahaha, no screaming now. Too early, silly girl. I could only stare up at the woman above me. I still felt weak, not having the strength to move and fight her off. She was very beautiful, but I felt more anger than amazement. Why do the boys like you? You're unique, yes? And that can't be all that you have going for you. Rage began to consume my core again. This woman, whoever she was making me mad. She must have known as she left another smirk grow on my face. Ooh, you're feisty. That could be why. She has big-ass muscles for some reason. She's a fucking... Gladiator. Before I could bite her hand in anger, she removed her hand from my lips, standing up and staring down at me from her place next to my bed. Oh, okay. I quickly sat up and stared daggers at the intruder. Who the hell are you and why are you in my room? Why are you in my room? Get out of my room! The woman began to laugh, making the rage inside me increase. I wanted to punch her, but I waited for her answer. How silly of me. I forgot that we demons are not well known in your world. You can call me Diana, little human. Diana? Demon? You're a demon? I am, but I'm much more than just an average demon. What do you mean? Silly girl, I'm a succubus. I stared at Diana in shock. A succubus? First incubi, now a succubus? Great. Now I've met both genders of sex demons. Diana crossed her arms under her bosom and looked at my body. Okay. Diana. Damn, Diana. Well, you are pretty. You are pretty, yes. Thank you. But you seem very reckless. Too reckless. I moved out and stood from the bed, still glaring at Diana. Why are you here? Well, I came here to clean up what the boys clearly forgot to clean. Men, so sloppy. What do you mean by that? I mean erasing your memories, sweetie. This woman wasn't serious, was she? She comes into my room and spouts this? This is ridiculous. I began to walk towards my door, wanting to leave the room. The boys could get rid of her. I had no mind about dealing with her myself. Wait, what? I had no mind. Okay, that's what she said. The boys are gone, sweetie. I froze in place. What? They were gone already? No way! I turned to Diana, glaring hard at her as she kept a smirk to me. You're lying. Am I? If you want to go see for yourself, you can, but I promise you'll be wasting your time. I stared, trying to find any hint that she was lying. She had to be. The boys wouldn't just up and leave without resting first. Right? Diana crossed her arms and waited for me to make a choice. I decided to believe her for now. I'd find some hint in this conversation. What do you mean, take my memories? Haha. Well, we demons just can't have just anyone knowing about us. You have to completely devote your soul. I'm completely winded from reading all that crap. You have to completely devote your soul to learning about us, and even then, it's not always guaranteed that you'll be granted knowledge of us. What makes me not deserve to know everything? I was attacked by devils. I found the boys in my house, wounded, and sheltered them. I think I deserve to remember those moments. Diana let out a laugh, running a hand through her hair before looking back at me, amused. You were attacked by a gang and were almost killed. You found 5 homeless men and left them in your home. There's nothing special about either of those instances. Yes, there was. A human like you can't understand the rules. The boys themselves aren't even aware of the rules. They'll learn soon enough. Diana flipped her hair before looking at me with a stern look. Listen, sweetie, you're not going back to bed or leaving this house with those memories. I'm taking them from you one way or another. I glared, standing my ground. You're not taking my memories. I'm not letting you take them. And what do you plan to do with them, huh? Tell the press? Gossip to your friends that demons exist? Confess to your parents that you had demon servants and were almost killed by a devil gang? Now she was making me mad. Did she seriously think I was this stupid? These memories were precious to me and I wasn't going to let her win over my mind. Those memories are important to me. I know that other creatures exist. I know that magic exists. I'm more open-minded now. Open-minded or gullible? What does she mean by that? The point of being open-minded was to be open to all thoughts. How was that any close to being gullible? There was nothing to learn from remembering the boys That won't bring trouble. I'm merely saving you from that. There are more than just demons who want to keep their existence a secret. There are many creatures in this world that don't want to be known, and you remembering a small fragment is not acceptable to them without good reason. Diana smirked. If you would have kept the boys, or at least had one of them around, they'll be a little bit more lenient to listen to your pleas. However, you're about to go into tomorrow without any of them around. I couldn't believe my ears. There are more than just demons. Other fictional creatures exist. There was a system? What? Diana sighed and snapped her fingers, lifting my body off from the ground with her magic. Look, I can kill you and no longer waste what little time I have, or I can erase your memories and just go on with my life. I have more important things to do above arguing with you. I thought it was me snoring. I looked down at the ground to see something that made every nerve in my body quickly quake in fear. On the ground was a large open mouth with sharp wet teeth leading to an empty black abyss. I can feel the heat from the mouth's breath pant against my floating body. I don't feel like screaming. I looked to Diana, who was looking at me with a stern and almost heartless gaze. Make a choice, sweetie. Give up your memories or be a demon snack. I warn you, he's quite the biter. I was panicking. I was about to die. Again! The boys weren't here to protect me. What was I going to do? Give up the memories, fight, or make a deal with Diana? I'll make a deal with Diana. Doesn't that sound so swell? Sure. Then I remembered. Demons have a conscience. They can't be heartless without a reason. She could be reasoned with. She seemed like a businesswoman. Wait! What? You're wasting my time. What about a deal, huh? Diana raised her eyebrow. I was afraid that she wasn't one to listen. What if she was as ruthless as I imagined her to be? I'm listening. Wait, really? She was willing to listen to me? She didn't drop me in the pit of death, but she didn't let me out of her spell. Now is a good time as any to try. These memories are precious to me, but they're not worth me losing my life. Of course. I mean, if I die, people will wonder and try to find explanations as to why I died or where I disappeared to. Then just hand over your memories. What if I trade them for you instead? You seem like a reasonable businesswoman. A trade is better than forcing me to give in, right? This was insane. I didn't even know what she was willing to listen to. She's already had me hanging over a pit of death. The only thing I could want to hope was her being forgiving enough to listen to reason. Well, speak your terms. What do you want in exchange? I let out a sigh of relief. She was willing to listen further. Well, what can you give me in return for them? I'm a demon. I can give you anything within reason. Money, money, men, women, power, name it. Just make it worth the price. She could get me anything? My mind began to wander. What did I want? Her or power? Do you want her? Do I want her? Or do I want power? What do I, in exchange for my memories, I get her? Or do I get exchange for my memories? She gives me, her? I don't know. Maybe her, I don't know. I heard Diana stifle a laugh. Me? Are you serious? What do you mean, me? I looked to Diana again. She was indeed scary, but she was gorgeous, and somehow she interested me. More so than the... Whoa. I mean, you stay with me for a little while. I want to get to know you, and these rules you're talking about. A human wanting to know more about a demon and the rules? You're really trying to step over your place, especially if you're losing those memories in the end. I'm serious. I'll give you my memories and energy if you stay just for a couple of days. A day even. It'll be worth it. Completely willing? Completely willing. And if you don't fulfill your end of the bargain, then you can feed me to your pit beast. Did they really slip out of my mouth? Wait, did that really just slip out of my mouth? Was I really wanting to put my life back on the line again? If it meant keeping my memories for a little longer, then yes. Diana looked at me, scanning my body with her eyes for any signs of false intent. I didn't have any, so Diana sighed and snapped her fingers again. The demon below me vanished, and I was slowly lowered to the ground. I looked to Diana in surprise. You are a very lucky demon. Wait, you are very lucky demon magic. You are very lucky demon magic is so. What? Wait, hold on. You are very lucky demon magic is so finicky. Okay, that's a fucking typo, dude. Okay. What do you mean? Why do you think demons make deals with humans like you? I wasn't sure. Demons were still new to me. I had heard stories of people making deals with demons and only ruin coming from the Diana's side. It's one thing to take your memories or your energy. It's another for you to willingly give it. You get more for your effort if the one we make a deal with is willing. Think of it like sex. If I'm aroused and you're willing to open your legs for me, I get pleasure. I'll enjoy it. You might enjoy it and it's done. What? But if you aren't willing and I force myself on you anyway, it's not so pleasurable for me. Even if I get what I want, it won't be as worth the effort. Strangely, this made sense. It was very much like a business. If I had what they had, they could negotiate it for it, and they could take it away anyway, but without a fight. Were they really business-oriented? My curiosity about demons grew as I realized what deal I had made. So, you'll stay for a couple of days? A day is enough. Yeah, sure, fine. Yeah, sure, fine. Yes. Yes. Diana looked at me up and down once again. I felt a little naked all of a sudden under her gaze, but I ignored it as she shrugged. All right. Diana kept her eyes on me, unsure what was going on from the look on her face. So, what do you want to know? You're obviously curious about demons enough to make a deal with me. My first thought shot to her, but then I remembered the boys. Not all of my questions were answered, and I wanted to know everything. First of all, who exactly are you? Diana chuckled before crossing her arms. You may refer to me as simply Diana, as I said before previously, if you weren't aware, I'll just tell you. I'm a succubus, and I tend to bring the boys back home. Back home? What do you mean? Back to the demon world? Precisely. They don't belong here, and it's imperative that they return. Why? Did they not tell you? They're runaway royals. I couldn't believe my ears. What? They're royalty? Why would they run away from royalty? Diana simply smirked at my new surprised face. Ah, so they didn't tell you. How unfortunate. We were in the presence of a demon prince and his noble brothers, and you didn't even know. I felt myself unconsciously walk over and sit on the bed. They hid something gigantic from me? Why? Did they not trust me? Then again, it had only been a couple of days. Yet they helped me and were here for me regardless, acting like servants instead of noblemen. I gripped my head in frustration. What am I supposed to believe? Believe whatever you wish. The confusion will fade away soon enough, regardless. I looked to Diana, who only gave me an almost somber look in return. She was serious about removing my memories, but she would keep her end of the deal unless I learned all I could. Dad and I felt thrilled to have her. Maybe it was because she was a succubus. I didn't know. I sighed and faced Diana. So, how did you get to the human world? How did the boys get here? with the help of a human in both of our cases. There is truly no need for details beyond that. Any human can cast a demon summoning spell. It's just a matter of what happens during the summoning and after where things get tricky. Alright. What do you mean? Well, if a human is willing, only part of their life force is taken from them, and they are given one chance to open the bridge between our worlds to allow the demons they desire to come through. The more demons come through, the more life force the spell takes. Luckily for the poor human that brought them here, the boys sacrificed some of their own powers to open the bridge instead of letting the spell feed solely on the human. The human lived, and the boys came through. That almost made sense. Something in my mind clicked, but I couldn't clear it out to figure out what it was. I only nodded to Diana. Were you the same? Somewhat. However, I don't care to go into details about how I came here. You'll forget soon enough. That's not part of the deal. You wish to have me around for more information? I get to decide what information you get. Cheater. It's not cheating if it's not a broken rule. I huffed and crossed my arms and legs. Diana was a game player, and I didn't like her rules. However, they were the rules I had accepted in order to keep my memories a little longer. I'd find a way to remember she wasn't going to win. Diana let out a small chuckle and ran a hand through my hair. Through her hair, not my hair. Ugh. Well, I believe you should head to bed. If I'm to stay here, then I need some form of sleep. I watched as Diana crossed through my room to the door and opened it. She turned to me with a small wink. Have a good night. See you in the morning. Before I could respond, she exited my room and closed the door behind her. I stared. It was like she was in control. I almost gritted my teeth at the thought. She wasn't the master of the house. I was. It's my house! I huffed and crawled back under the sheets. How could my life get so complicated? What was going on? I must have had some serious bad luck. I sighed and covered myself with my blankets, wanting tonight to end. I needed tomorrow to come. School would take my mind off things. If school actually happened. Anyway. Oh shit, no! I'm gonna pause. I fucked up the recording. I fucked up so bad. But anyway. Yeah, that's gonna be the end of this series. Go check it out. It was interesting. Okay, bye.